From the dawn of human history, we have been fascinated by the human form. Our ancestors, living in caves, left behind handprints and rudimentary figures. These early expressions evolved into sophisticated depictions of the human body. The female nude, in particular, has held a prominent place in art for millennia. Across cultures and time periods, the representation of the naked female form has been celebrated, scrutinized, and reinterpreted. By exploring the evolution of the subject, we can gain a deeper understanding of our own values and perceptions.
In the ancient world, the female form was often linked to themes of fertility and abundance. This connection was not just a matter of physical representation, but also a profound spiritual and cultural symbol. The depiction of women in ancient art often transcended mere aesthetics, embodying the very essence of life and creation. Statues of goddesses and priestesses, often depicted nude or partially draped, served as powerful symbols of life-giving forces. These figures were revered not only for their beauty, but also for their divine connection to the earth and its cycles. The nudity, or partial drapery, was not intended to be provocative, but rather to highlight their natural life-giving attributes. The Venus of Willendorf, a small statuette dating back to the Paleolithic era, is a prime example. This iconic figure, with its exaggerated features, has fascinated historians and archaeologists alike. It is believed that such statuettes were used in rituals or as talismans to ensure fertility and prosperity within the community. Her exaggerated curves and prominent breasts suggest an association with fertility and the sustenance of life. These physical traits were likely emphasized to symbolize abundance and the nurturing aspects of womanhood. The focus on these features underscores the importance of fertility in ancient societies, where the ability to bear children was crucial for survival and continuity. Similarly, ancient Egyptian art frequently portrayed goddesses like Isis and Hathor in various states of dress and undress, emphasizing their roles as protectors and providers. These goddesses were central to Egyptian mythology, representing motherhood, fertility, and the nurturing aspects of the divine feminine. Their depictions in art were not merely ornamental, but served to convey their powerful roles in the spiritual and everyday lives of the people. The reverence for these figures highlights the deep connection between fertility, power, and the divine in ancient cultures.
The classical period in Greece and Rome witnessed a significant shift towards idealized representations of the human form. This era marked a profound transformation in the way artists approached the human body, striving to capture an idealized version of beauty and perfection. The sculptures from this period are renowned for their meticulous attention to detail and their pursuit of an almost divine representation of human anatomy. Sculptures like the Venus de Milo and the Aphrodite of Cnidus celebrated the beauty and grace of the female body, albeit often through an idealized lens. These masterpieces were not just artistic endeavors, but also cultural statements, reflecting the societal ideals of beauty and femininity. The Venus de Milo, with its poised elegance, and the Aphrodite of Cnidus, with its sensuous curves, epitomize the classical ideals of female beauty that have endured through the ages. These works established a canon of beauty that influenced Western art for centuries. The impact of Greek and Roman art extended far beyond their own time, shaping the artistic standards and practices of subsequent generations. Artists throughout history have looked back to these classical forms as benchmarks of aesthetic excellence, drawing inspiration from their harmonious proportions and balanced compositions. The emphasis on proportion, balance, and harmony reflected the intellectual and philosophical values of these societies. Greek and Roman artists believed that beauty was intrinsically linked to mathematical precision and symmetry. This belief was rooted in their philosophical traditions, which held that the universe itself was governed by harmonious principles. Thus, their art was an expression of their worldview, seeking to mirror the order and balance they perceived in nature. However, it's important to note that these representations were often idealized and did not necessarily reflect the diversity of real women's bodies. While these sculptures are celebrated for their beauty, they also present a narrow view of human form, often excluding the variety and imperfections found in real life. This idealization has had lasting effects, influencing perceptions of beauty and body image throughout history and into the modern era. It serves as a reminder that art, while a reflection of cultural ideals, can also shape and sometimes distort our understanding of human diversity.
With the rise of Christianity in Europe, the depiction of nudity in art became more subdued. The focus shifted towards religious themes, and the female body was often concealed beneath layers of clothing. This reflected the Church's emphasis on modesty and the avoidance of sinful thoughts. However, even within this context, there were exceptions. Biblical stories like the birth of Venus and the depiction of Eve in the Garden of Eden allowed for some degree of nudity, albeit often with a focus on innocence rather than eroticism.
Section 5. Renaissance, Rebirth of the Nude. The Renaissance marked a renewed interest in classical art and with it, a resurgence of the nude in art. This era, spanning from the 14th to the 17th century, was a time of great cultural and artistic flourishing. Artists sought to revive the ideals of ancient Greece and Rome, focusing on humanism and the beauty of the human body. Artists like Botticelli, Leonardo da Vinci, and Michelangelo drew inspiration from Greek and Roman sculptures celebrating the beauty and complexity of the human form. They meticulously studied anatomy to create more lifelike and dynamic representations. Their works often depicted mythological and religious themes, using the nude to convey deeper meanings and emotions. The Birth of Venus by Botticelli is a prime example, showcasing the goddess emerging from a giant scallop shell. This painting epitomizes the Renaissance's fascination with classical mythology and the idealized human form. Venus, the goddess of love and beauty, is portrayed with grace and elegance, embodying the era's artistic ideals. This period saw a shift towards more naturalistic portrayals of the female body, although idealized standards of beauty persisted. Artists began to explore the subtleties of light and shadow, creating more realistic and three-dimensional figures. The Renaissance not only revived the nude, but also set the stage for future artistic developments, influencing generations of artists to come. The legacy of this period continues to inspire and captivate audiences, reminding us of the timeless allure of the human form.
Section 6. Shifting gaze, from the salon to the street. The 19th century witnessed a significant shift in the way female nudity was portrayed in art. The rise of Impressionism and Post-Impressionism saw artists like Renoir, Degas, and Manet depicting women in more everyday settings, often engaged in mundane activities. This marked a departure from the idealized nudes of previous eras, presenting a more realistic and nuanced view of femininity. The gaze also began to shift, with some artists challenging the traditional male perspective and exploring female subjectivity.
Section 7. Modern art breaking conventions. The 20th century witnessed a radical departure from traditional representations of the female nude. Modern art movements like Cubism, Surrealism, and Abstract Expressionism challenged conventional notions of beauty and representation. Artists like Picasso, Dali, and O'Keeffe used the female form as a springboard for exploring new artistic languages and pushing the boundaries of what was considered acceptable. This period saw a greater emphasis on individual artistic expression and a rejection of traditional aesthetic standards.
Section 8. The Female Gaze, Reclaiming the Narrative. In recent decades, there has been a growing movement to reclaim the narrative surrounding the female nude in art. Female artists like Frida Kahlo, Judy Chicago, and Jenny Saville have challenged the male gaze and presented their own perspectives on the female body. Their work often explores themes of identity, sexuality, and the lived experience of being a woman. This shift in perspective has led to a more diverse and nuanced understanding of the female form in art.
Section 9. Media's influence, body image, and representation. The media plays a powerful role in shaping our perceptions of beauty and body image. From advertising to film and television, we are bombarded with images of idealized and often unattainable body types. This can have a detrimental effect on self-esteem and contribute to unrealistic expectations. However, there has been a growing movement towards body positivity and inclusivity in media representation. This includes showcasing a wider range of body types and challenging traditional beauty standards.
Section 10. Conclusion, nudity, art, and our evolving perceptions. The depiction of the female nude in art has been a subject of fascination and controversy for millennia. From ancient fertility goddesses to modern expressions of identity and self-acceptance, the female form continues to captivate and challenge us. As our understanding of gender, sexuality, and body image evolves, so too will our interpretation of these representations. By engaging with these works of art, we can gain a deeper understanding of ourselves and the world around us.